Hello, welcome to today's video. This video is to correct the misunderstanding of Sharpe Ratio. Let's go to the definition first. So Sharpe Ratio is the expected value of premium return divided by the return's volatility, which is a sigma. So here RB stands for the benchmark return. It can be SP 500 or any benchmark you want. So if the sigma comes down and premium return stays the same, the Sharpe Ratio will go up. So as most of you may know, the higher Sharpe Ratio, the better. But this is not true. Sharpe Ratio has the same concept as other ratio, which means that how much numerator changes if denominator changes. For example, if Sharpe Ratio equals to 1, which means that if volatility increased by 1%, the expected premium return increased by 1%. If Sharpe Ratio equals to 2, 1% increase of volatility leads to 2% expected premium return. So the question is whether the higher Sharpe Ratio the better. The answer is no, or it really depends on your risk appetite or risk aversion. So what if I'm a pure risk taker, or what if I'm a person who really hates risk? Let's think about this question. If I'm a person who only cares about return, does the higher Sharpe Ratio lead to a higher return for 100% sure? The answer is no. For example, some market makers may have Sharpe Ratio from 10 to 20 due to central limit theory, as a higher frequency of trading leads to lower volatility of the average return, assuming expected return does not change. But they usually do not have a large return. But if you sacrifice the Sharpe Ratio, your return can be higher as maybe 1000%. So let's consider our utility function, which is composed by return and variance. There is a user-defined or arbitrary parameter in this utility function, which is gamma. And this is your risk aversion coefficient. If I'm a risk lover and I want to take a risk, so risk aversion can be close to 0, which means that I don't need to care about risk. If I hate risk, then risk aversion can be really high. And moreover, even to the same individual, different asset or different news can lead the same individual to have different risk appetite. So let's think about this case. If there is an asset which can has a very large expected return, and people usually do not care about risk because you have so large return like 100% or 100 times, you really don't need to care about your volatility, even if it's 100%. So in this case, our objective function shrink to maximize the expected return because your risk aversion is very close to 0. So in this case, you really don't care about your sigma. So now we have a new objective function, which is just to maximize your expected return. However, if you're using leverage, you have to care about liquidation. And because liquidation changes your objective function to either your return is your expected return or 0. So in this case, it is now become a knockout call option rather than a linear function just expected return. This is why we need stop loss and profit taking. And now the objective function becomes to maximize your, okay, let's see what's right now the objective function looks like. So it's maximize your expected return, and you take the maximum between this one and the 0. You maximize the maximize of these things. So it's like you maximize your payoff of a call option. So right now, let's come back to the market maker case. Some people say, hey, high frequency is really fantastic, but is it true? So let's say market makers have a Sharpe ratio from 10 to 20. Their return is actually not that high as you imagined before. And what's worse is their return is not high, and they still experience very large drawdown when the whole market collapse, because they do not have mid or low frequency trending following or mean reversion trading signal, because they don't know what happens. They cannot predict the collapse, and their drawdown can take around 1 or 2 months to recover and to make a break even, which is very bad. I do think some high frequency traders should have some mid frequency and low frequency traders to help them, but I don't know why most of them, they do not have the prediction power to the collapse. Okay, let's do some summary right now. So first, the higher the better Sharpe ratio is. It is not true. This is only one of the reference when you invest or you develop your own strategy. It's just a reference, just one of the metrics. So you really do not need to care that much. Second, it really depends on your risk aversion. If you are a risk taker, you like the risk, you do not need to really care about the risk things. Third, so even if the same individual, different asset can lead to different risk aversion. So for example, if the expected value of the return is 1 million times, I really do not care about volatility. Even if it is very large as 100%, I still do not need to care. I just do not care. Because if there is no liquidation risk, I just wait there and hold it to 1 million times return. That's it. Alright, I think that's all for today's video. If you like this video, please give me a like, turn on your notification on YouTube, and subscribe our channel. Thank you for watching this.